Hey, what's going on? So I recently picked up a skateboard from GLIDER Skateboards. Now this board is a twin tip. If you don't know what a twin tip is, that means that the nose and the tail are exactly the same. And honestly, I've been super curious to try one of these boards out. They're getting really popular in the skateboarding world, but unfortunately not a lot of companies create twin tip skateboards. Usually your nose is gonna be a little bit bigger than your tail. And if you're anything like me, you've been skating and you've thrown your board down backwards, and as soon as you hop on your skateboard, it turns like really weird. That's because since it has a direction, your trucks kind of like adjust either to the left or to the right. So whenever you hop on your board backwards, it feels really weird. And I've always been super envious of those skaters that can just throw their board down any which way and just hop on it and shred. And I've always been like, I wonder what it would be like to ride a twin tip where it's exactly the same and you just throw the board down and you don't even think about it. I know Ishod is like that, like he just throws his board down. I'm pretty sure he rides a twin tip. There's a few other big names in skateboarding that ride twin tips, but like I said, they're really hard to find. So luckily, GLIDER Skateboards reached out to me and they actually offered me one of these boards, and they are all based around the twin tip shape. That's what their company's about. They want to like lead the way in high quality twin tip skateboards. So I'm really excited to try this thing out, and you know me, I'm gonna ride this thing hard and I'm gonna let you guys know what I think about it. Well, hello everybody on the internet. It's Rob, and I just finished skating this GLIDER skateboard twin tip, and I gotta be honest, it was absolutely amazing. It was like mind-blowing amazing. So when I set this thing up, I put new bushings in both of my trucks because, like I said in the beginning, this is a twin tip, and I wanted to have the full twin tip experience. So like when I set up the new bushings, I just threw my board down and I got little marks on my nose, so I knew like, oh, I've been throwing, but I had to force myself every time to just make sure that I just threw it down. And I gotta be honest, once I got used to it, like it was so amazing. It's like it freed up some space in my mind, like some subconscious like superpowers, because I wasn't worried if my board was backwards or not. I just threw my board down. I never looked down at my board, and it was like liberating. It was actually awesome. Like I really think I might ride twin tips forever. Like twin tip skateboards are amazing. Like it was really cool. So now let's talk about the company, GLIDER, because that was more or less talking about how I am now obsessed with twin tip boards. But the board itself actually really surprised me. Okay, I didn't think it was gonna be as good as it was. The one negative thing is like it seemed a little bit thick and a little bit stiff. So the first day I rode it, it didn't quite feel like it had like the best pop, and it felt a little bit on the heavy side. But once I broke it in, the board got a little bit more flexible, and the fact that it was thicker, it actually like lasted a really long time. I skated this for like about a month, and like no chips. Like there's not a single chip on the board. and the board still has like really good pop. It's actually like broken in perfectly. It's gonna last me even longer. So the fact that it's a little bit stiffer and a little bit thicker is gonna make the board last longer. I know some people like the thin boards that are really light and crispy. This doesn't quite have that feel, but it's gonna last you twice as long as a normal board. Now let's talk about some other things I really liked about the board. So I noticed that it has a shorter wheelbase. And I usually ride like 14 or 14 and a half. I think this wheelbase is like 13 and 3/4. It's shorter than the last board I was riding. And I actually really like that about it. Like, for me, it just is perfect. Like, I don't know. I was like doing a lot of kickflip crooks with this board, and I struggle with that trick sometimes. And it just went in every single time. And I think it's because when I flicked out my extension foot, it was just like the right distance to the ledge. So I noticed a lot of things about this that I love the shorter wheelbase. And honestly, the board just like was really good. Like, the quality is really good. It's super durable. The only other thing that I'll say is I personally like more of a shovel nose shaped board because that makes like frontside flips a little bit easier and 360 flips. This board is like a true popsicle shape. It's like perfectly straight. So as you can see, it's like a perfect popsicle shape. And I know some people like that. I don't like it as much, but I obviously adjusted to it. But I did notice in the beginning when I was doing frontside flips, I was doing some frontside flips and some kickflip no slides, and it was a little bit harder to get that scoop out. So if you like a shovel nose shape, this board is not that, but I got used to it, and I have to say, this board was phenomenal. Like, I would totally ride another one of these. I really, really like this board. Like, especially if you're looking for a twin tip shape, like, this board's badass. Like, I would highly recommend getting this board. I'm not sure exactly how expensive they are. I think they run probably as much as any other board, but I'm gonna put the website below. I think it's gliderskateboards.com, but it's gonna be below so you guys can check it out. And yeah, this board was really awesome. I'm gonna continue riding it. So yeah, highly recommend it. And just in general, if you guys want to mess around with twin tips, I highly, highly recommend twin tips, but you got to have the full experience. You should set up new bushings and just throw your board down and make sure that you don't think about it, and it's really going to improve your skating. And yeah, check it out. Peace. Love you guys.